Tiffany was just, a one of a kind. Being a twin, she was still a one of a kind. She can make friends with anybody. Just had that attitude and smile and big dimples and goofy laugh, and she was just kind of a contagious person to be around.
She was outgoing, she was beautiful, she was close to her coworkers, and she was very family-oriented.
She had a boyfriend named Christopher Revill. She had decided some months before that she didn't want to remain with Christopher. He was controlling and aggressive with her.
She had asked my sister how to break up with somebody.
And on October 10th of 2016, she was trying to move on with her life.
When Asher called up, it was just, "What's wrong, and where's Tiffany?" And he said, "Mom, that's it. We don't know. Tiffany's gone."
We will head over to Tiffany's apartment. And that is really where all of this kicked off for us back in October of 2016. We got the call out to the apartment that she had been taken. And so this was the last place that she was seen by her family. We're gonna meet one of my old partners. His name's Pat Hens. He has since retired from the Fort Worth Police Department. But I worked several big cases with him, and he was in the unit the night that Tiffany went missing, and he responded to the scene. So he's gonna come out here and walk us through some stuff. Hey,
Hi,
Pat.
Amy. It's great to see you. It's amazing to come back out here after all these years. Asher and his girlfriend and Tiffany were all here. Now, Tiffany and Christopher had started breaking up. They've been separated for maybe 2 months.
From the text messages that we were able to recover from the phones that we looked at, it was obvious that they texted each other throughout the day, and they were still talking about the relationship problems, still trying to figure out the state of the relationship, if you will. And the breakup was still kind of ongoing.
There was quite a bit of evidence out of that, of his rage at her for not wanting to be with him anymore. I mean, it was text after text after text from him.
So Asher invited him over, not knowing that Tiffany was bringing her new boyfriend over.
That's when she had notified me, hey, Chris needs to go. Gonna be awkward if they're both here, and who knows what this could escalate to.
So now you got the new boyfriend, the old boyfriend, the brother, and the brother's girlfriend here. It was awkward. So Tiffany says, new boyfriend, go on upstairs, and I'll deal with this. Asher looks out and sees them down here talking, Christopher and Tiffany talking.
It wasn't so much an argument, but I could see my sister using her hand movements, like pretty much just, I think, saying, hey, you need to make this advancement and just go type of hand movement type of thing. I heard them, their voices go to the side of the building. So I know they were talking on the side of the building. I couldn't tell if it was behind the building, but I could hear them. The conversation was no longer in the parking lot.
If you think about this, there's no windows over here. There's no balcony, there's nothing. This is a perfect hiding space.
20 minutes passed, my girlfriend Jessica had texted Tiffany and asked if everything was okay, what's going on. No reply back. I start blowing up her phone, seeing if I could contact her. Nothing. Chris came up the stairs, and he came back into the apartment and was like, it's what I expected all along. I was like, I didn't know really what to say. He just walked in to the dining room table, grabbed a plastic bag off a chair, which might have had a couple of drinks in it, and then he left. And that's when I gave it another about 20 minutes after that, trying to contact my sister. And so now altogether it's about an hour has passed.
Okay.
Can't contact her. So that's when I decided to go downstairs, because now I'm worried.
And so he goes down to peek and see what's happening.
And that's when I had turned my head. I had seen Chris pulled in backwards.
And he sees the defendant with the vehicle pulled into the grassy area and the trunk and the car doors open.
Asher said he saw Christopher's car backed up to the back of the building here, which is off the parking lot. He had to go up over a curb to get back to that spot.
Like back to the AC units, right?
Correct.
It was all the way back in that corner.
Yes. No reason to be back there.
Yeah.
He sees Christopher shut in the trunk, get in his car, and drive off. So Asher goes and looks to see what was over there.
That's when I had walked to the back with my flashlight on, because now it's getting dark, or it is dark. And I had my flashlight on, found my sister's phone, found a sock, the type of cigarettes that he smokes down there.
Okay.
Like, it's just all adding up.
Her car was parked in the parking lot and her keys were on top of the car. So he knew that there was something wrong.
That's when I had called him up, and I had called him. I said, "You need to come back right now. This does not look right. This looks up." He couldn't have been away no longer than 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
So he was not far.
Okay.
I call him back. Okay, well, I'm gonna turn around. I give the man benefit of the doubt. I gave him 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Now this is looking really messed up. What the hell is taking so long? I'm blowing his phone up.
So he immediately begins blowing up the defendant's phone, saying that Tiffany was not there, that he needed to come back, but the defendant did not come back for an extensive period of time.
Asher says it's just weird that Chris is there, Tiffany's there. Tiffany's going outside and they were arguing and they both go. They're both gone. And it took Chris an hour and a half to get back.
When he showed back up at the scene, the officers on the scene noticed he's sweating a lot. This was October.
His shirt was sopping wet, for which he had no explanation. He claimed it was because it was hot when it was approximately 64 degrees out.
He came back, he's willing to talk, so let's get him to talk. Chris, I'm Detective Hens with Fort Worth Police Department. Will you talk to me?
I mean, I've tried to talk to you so far.
Chris, I'm Detective Hens with Fort Worth Police Department. Will you talk to me?
When I left here, that girl was going to her car and I was going upstairs, and then I got my stuff. Whatever happened, whatever she was doing with her car, with her brakes or whatever, I have no clue. All right, when I made my decision to leave, I left.
He claimed he had no knowledge of what happened to Tiffany. He was claiming that it might be a person who was trying to fix her car, which did not match up with anything the police subsequently were able to investigate on that matter.
He never uses Tiffany's name, never says Tiffany. So that's a flag right there. He distanced himself, and right away he says, "That girl."
She really kind of didn't even want me to know that she was talking to somebody. It's kind of the way she acted. But I mean, I wasn't upset about that because we had already pretty much got an understanding that, you know, we need to move on, you know, it's not working out. So neither one of us had ill feelings about it.
In talking to him about where he went from when he left the apartments, he went straight home. Didn't go off-road, didn't go anywhere like that. At one point, I look at the car, I look around the car to see, are there any signs of him going off-road? I noticed a sticker, a little sandy burr. Now, that may not mean anything, but you can't get one of those driving on the street. He had to go off-road somewhere. During the interview, I finally was like, let's get a timetable. Let's just break this down. He got onto Trinity Boulevard, then got onto 360, and then got onto I-30, and he was kind of vague as to where he left from there. He could have either exited East Chase, Cooks, or 820, any of those three routes to go back home to his parents' house.
They went to the Kalmar court address, which is where the defendant was living with his parents. And in the backyard, they discovered some clothing items that were Tiffany's. There was a camisole there and some other items, and we were able to identify that camisole as something that she was wearing earlier in the day.
They found a bra. They found a white men's undershirt, his smartwatch, or a watch.
And a men's bracelet.
And a bracelet. And so we believe that he left the apartment, came to the house, did something, and went back.
What was interesting to me in the backyard was you had all this stuff, and it was like, it wasn't like in like a pile. It wasn't like we came out and there was just like stuff. It was actually like piece throughout the backyard leading up to the back fence.
The property in the backyard connected both the defendant and Tiffany to that location. What it indicated is that he had done something to her in the backyard, something that aided his purpose of, in essence, disappearing her.
Those items had been there for, we don't even know when they got there. They were so dirty, it would not have been there fresh, like within an hour or so. There was dirt mangled throughout them. But those items were tested. Chris's DNA is not on any of the items. Tiffany's is.
If you take somebody, what in the hell am I gonna take them home for? Like, you take this person home, like, are you serious?
Timelines are important in investigations, figuring out how much time you have, how much time you don't have, because it kind of helps with search radius and possibilities and things that you can start really looking into. And so trying to figure out how long does it take to get from point A to point B.
At 9:48 is when Asher, Tiffany's brother, calls him and says, "Hey, where'd you go? Where's Tiffany?" We have a camera in the neighborhood of his parents' house of him showing up there. That was around 10:06. So about 18 minutes. So it appeared that he went straight there. He was there approximately 42 minutes. He left at 10:48. We got video of him leaving that area. So he's there for 40 some minutes. It took him another 42 minutes to get back to the apartment complex.
There's a lot of different routes you can take, and they all matter right now. And so myself and other people in the unit, we would just start driving. Try to figure out how long does it take on various routes, how much time can we save, how fast do we drive, and just really just trying to figure out wiggle room, if you will, that would allow him to have time to do whatever he did before he showed back up to the apartment complex.
The areas that we searched, all within that area of Brentwood Stair, Cooks Lane, and Meadowbrook. There's a lot of wooded area there.
Watch out for fire ants. My name is Art Salstein, and I've been searching for Typhenie Johnson for 8 years. The Revill home is about 1.5 miles just down the road here. We can be there in no time, okay? Right there next to the park. And I just looked at this area and I said, there's no cameras here, there's no cameras here, there's no street lights, and there was easy access to hide a vehicle. I've devoted so much time to this, and I always looked as Tiffany could be my daughter. But we have a devoted group of people that come out. So we do grid patterns, and we go back and forth. Because you can miss something on top of the ground very easily. You physically have to be there. If the grass is 12 to 18 inches high, you might walk by it and not, some remains and not even know it. A lot of the volunteers have been members of the Dallas Paleontology Society, have volunteered for years. And I like to get those kind of people because they're familiar. They're attuned to finding remains.
That's the big mystery, is where could you have gone in this short period of time, in this short distance, and dispose of a body quick enough to know that it's not going to be found.
I will say that the terrain that we're searching in is hard. It's hard to search all of the wooded areas and all the brambles and all the stuff. And we are human.
I knew that he was involved in this. With the information from Asher and what they said, there was no doubt that he had done something to her, to Tiffany, and took her somewhere. It wasn't until we get down to the station that we are able to do a little bit more background on him. And we were very shocked. Here we have another situation, another girlfriend who is now gone missing.
He was in conflict with both of those young women, and that he was the last person seen with them, and then they disappear and they're never found again. You know, what are the odds of that? What are the odds of that?
Live from Dallas and Fort Worth, this is CBS 11 News at 10.
Still no sign of a missing Fort Worth woman, but police say they already have enough evidence to arrest her ex-boyfriend on kidnapping charges. But, you know, this is not the first missing woman Revill has been linked to. Nearly 11 years ago, his girlfriend, Taliba Islam, disappeared. And just like the current case, Revill told her family she left with a stranger.
It's the same thing that happened.
Same story.
It's the same story that happened, you know, so many years ago with my sister. Taliba was 21 when she went missing. Seeing him on the news is just like this MFer, you know, I'm sorry, but it was like this guy like probably did something to my sister because he said the same thing, and that's what made me catch it. The same thing he said about Tiffany is the same thing he said about Taliba. She jumped in the car and she left. I actually called 911 because I was like, hey, I know this guy, and they're saying that he did this to this girl. He did it to my sister as well because we haven't seen her in 10 years.
The specific facts of the case were not identical, but what was similar was that he was in conflict with both of those young women, and that he was the last person seen with them, and then they disappear and they're never found again.
What was Chris's defense?
That he didn't do it. Just plain and simple. He didn't have anything to do with Tiffany's disappearance.
We didn't have direct eyewitness testimony to him abducting her, but it was very close because of what Asher saw right before he pulled away. What was really important was what Asher saw right before the car took off. Because when you combine that with the shoe prints and the tire prints, and the fact that her cell phone was found in the area and her sock was found in that same area, that paints a very clear picture of her going into that car involuntarily.
Asher, the brother, said, you know, he saw Chris at the trunk of the car. So it kind of gave like he stuffed her in the trunk of the car and sped away. There was nothing in the trunk of the car. From the time that he left there and he got back to his parents' house, you didn't have time to dispose of a body.
He didn't return for over an hour and 40 minutes. He lied. He said he didn't make it home. He did make it home. But he never had an explanation for why he never went in the house, even though he had a curfew on his parents. He was in the backyard at 10 o'clock at night while Asher and Asher's girlfriend and a friend of Typhenie Johnson's were frantically searching for her over on Tristan Lane. He was in the backyard of his mother's house and he never went inside.
There was a lot of talk about him being in the backyard.
Right.
What's he doing?
He will sit outside, drink beer, or just hang out outside. And that's what he was doing.
It was hard. You just watch him smirk through the whole thing. Like he is not gonna get caught with anything.
I got the impression that controlling and manipulating people was very pleasing to him. And it was creepy, really creepy.
I thought we had proved that the state hadn't proven their case. And, boom, jury got a verdict, and we were stunned.
It's life in prison for the man who kidnapped a North Texas woman who to this day is still missing. A jury, though, despite that, today found 35-year-old Christopher Revill guilty of kidnapping Typhenie Johnson back in 2016. A judge then a short time later sentenced him to life in prison.
Many of the jurors who were there for guilt innocence, many of them stayed for punishment. They were in the audience. They wanted to see the conclusion of this. They were vested in the outcome. And when Taliba's sister took the stand and talked about her disappearance at the hand of the defendant, there was audible gasps in the audience. They were shocked. And I have to think that they felt very vindicated in their guilty verdict.
Even though it wasn't for Taliba, we still felt like it was for Taliba. Like, even though it was for Tiffany, it was still, I was still happy that she got justice, but I felt like my sister got justice as well.
There is no such thing as perfect justice from the sense of what the system can give. Because although we can give a good verdict and a good sentence, real justice, complete justice, would be to have your family member back. And we can't do that.
That's not justice. He's got a roof over his head. He's got a bed to sleep on. He's getting 3 meals a day. What kind of justice is that when Tiffany's where? You know, we don't know. We don't know.
But death always reveals itself in time. All it is a matter of time. Whether it's someone who comes forward because they didn't realize that they saw something and what that something was in the scheme of things, or maybe someone who did know something and they have a change of heart and they realize they shouldn't keep silent anymore. It could be that physically her body is found, the remnants, the bones of her body is found because the earth moves. Weather patterns happen, construction takes over, but death doesn't remain dead and all things are revealed. It's just a matter of time.
I'm almost positive there are people that were in Chris Revill's life back in October of 2016 and again back in 2006 that know more about what happened to Taliba and Tiffany than what they've told us. I know law enforcement, I know we're doing everything we can to bring justice, but it's going to take these people realizing that they were real people. They were beautiful women with vibrant, happy lives and loving families.
Even into retirement, this case isn't done.
No.
He could burn in hell. He could burn in hell. They need to bury him under the jail. Oh, I hate him. I'm sorry, but I hate him.
It's not just our lives he ruined. He ruined the lives of Taliba. He ruined his own child's life by taking his mother away. You know, he did this to his family. It's not just us. I mean, it's a whole group of people that he has actually just turned their lives upside down.